Welcome to another edition of Straight Shooting Sports Talk, and I'm your host, Dujane Bland. And today we're going to talk about what was the Hall of Fame game. And it was great to see football back in action, wasn't it? Live and in color, not watching a bunch of reruns, although it was a preseason game. And I know for Dolphins and Cowboys fans alike, it was just great to see their teams on the field and be able to see them go against another team, especially if you've been to training camp. You kind of get tired of seeing your guys go against other guys. You want to see some competition against someone else. So that was really nice. But what can we take out of this game? What does that 24-20 win mean? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. But if you look at the game inside the game, that's where we can analyze some things. And when we look at the Miami Dolphins, we know there was a lot of pieces there that they went and grabbed through free agency and in the draft. When you look at their running back situation, I think they are really solid there. I think they have three good running backs, and we saw them last night making some pretty stout runs, breaking through and getting 10-yard, 8-yard gains, having a lot of bursts. Looked like they were getting a really good feel of what was going on out there. And I think if they can get a running game going, that's going to help Tannehill out a lot and going to take a lot of pressure off of them trying to force the ball down the field to their wide receivers. Now, we also look on the defensive side of the ball. They drafted a guy, Jordan, in the 3rd round. And, man, there's a lot of questions coming in about his strength. Not saying one game changes that, but I like what I saw from him in the goal line situations against the Cowboys, how he seemed to hold his own. The stat sheet doesn't really show it for him. I think he had like 2 tackles. But if you look at his physical being and him being able to work and maneuver and hold his own against those guys on the offensive line, I thought was amazing. He showed a lot of strength there and a lot of ability to be what we think he can be when the season comes around and be a proven starter for them. So hopefully we'll see an improvement as time goes on. Now, when you look at the Cowboys, as a team that we talked about when we talked about the NFL coming back in our last show, that can compete for the division with the Washington Redskins. And I still stand firm by that. There's a lot of questions on this football team, of course, but I think there's several things that I saw that I really enjoyed. First of all, when you look at the offense, getting in and out of the huddle, they looked very fluent. They didn't take a whole lot of time. As Cowboys fans know, that was one of 2 areas I felt that were super high in their penalty level, false starts or delay of games. They looked very fluent, very sharp, in and out of the huddle. Looks like Callahan has a very good system of getting the plays down to the quarterback. I liked Tanner. Philip Tanner looked very good, and I know my man Shango was talking about last year he looked very good in preseason, but he looked very good. Another guy is Joseph Randle. I liked him as well. You look at in the beginning of the game or when he had a couple touches, he didn't look very, very sharp. But as time went on, he looks like one of those backs that you keep feeding him and you keep feeding him and you keep feeding him, and he starts to figure things out, and he really starts to assert himself the more and more carries that he gets. And that's a positive for the Dallas Cowboys, being that Murray has a hard time staying on the field injury-wise. Also on the offensive side of the ball, I like Jarrett Green. I know he only made 1 catch, but did you see the guy's speed in that catch? Pretty classic. Pretty classic. Really like that as well. On the defensive side of the ball, we had some guys in Wilbur who made some plays. I like the way Johnson at safety played earlier before he got hurt. I thought he did a solid job. J.J. Wilcox has a lot of work to do. I think we all know that he only played 1 year in college at safety, so he's got a lot of work to do. Looked lost at times, but it's only the first preseason game, so they've got 3 more or so to get it right, and hopefully he can make some improvements in that area. But I think when you look at these 2 teams, you look at the Cowboys, same thing, same problems as we go in coming out of this game. Offensive line is going to be a huge issue. Frederick looked good in some instances. At guard, he looked horrible, got blowed up on a couple plays. Um, and you look in the defensive side of the ball, there may be some promise there to have some extra depth. We know that's a concern for Cowboys fans is the depth there. The secondary and the safety position mainly is the product of concern. Miami, though, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, they really have a loaded roster. It's just a matter of putting it together on the field and executing and hoping that it all gels together to build a quality product. Well, Hall of Fame game was the kickoff, and we'll be talking a lot of NFL going forward. Our next topic, we're talking about Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver Riley Cooper. And this is a question posed by a viewer on what he was asking me what I thought about the situation and whether the guy should be removed from the NFL. I've seen a lot of different posts on this thing. I know one of my favorite videos, Philadelphia. You can catch her at Philadelphia, Eagles.com. She didn't even want to touch the subject, but to say that we have free speech in this country is true. Are we as a society a little bit oversensitive to words? Absolutely. But as a average person, a player of a basketball team or a professional team or an actor does not give you the right to be a habitual line crosser. And in this instance, as any other instance we've seen, such as Chris Cooley exposing himself accidentally in a picture, Brett Favre, Titus Young, Pac-Man Jones, the list goes on. These guys were reprimanded and suspended by team or NFL. Now, if you are on a social networking site or you are caught in public and you are saying anything off kilter, racial slur, what have you, and it brings a bad light or bad pub to your place of work. We know that some places of work monitor people or their folks who are on social networking sites. And if it's got back to them, more than likely it's going to be Vince McMahon style, you're fired. No questions asked. Why? Because it brings bad publicity to the company. It puts them in a bad light. Now, in this situation with Riley Cooper, he was hoodwinked, or however you want to call it. Someone taped him saying something that he shouldn't have been saying. And he says that he never said, but I can see someone in the heat of the moment saying a curse word. I don't see someone in the heat of the moment using a racial slur unless you've already been using it. That's a moot point. Fact of the matter is that he brought bad publicity to the Philadelphia Eagles and the NFL. Therefore, that company does not have to tolerate that particular behavior and has to do something about it. Therefore, suspending or removing him, however the case may be, it is their choice. Said team needs to take action in this regard, which the Philadelphia Eagles have taken their action. Now, beyond that, that's left up to the league or the team to deal with. Should he be removed? Absolutely not. People make mistakes and say things in the heat of the moment or under pressure. As Dion said, he felt that he was under pressure and came out with something that was caught on someone's phone that was very, very hurtful and the wrong thing to say in that moment. But I think the situation was handled properly and should continue to be handled in this manner. If you make a mistake, and players, actors alike, need to understand that folks are looking to catch you doing something wrong. When are you going to learn? When you do something of this negative magnitude with people with these camera phones iPads looking to catch someone and it gets on the internet, you suffer the consequences of your actions. So the thing is that you need to watch what you say and do. And that applies for really everyone across the board. But when you do get out of line, it is the team's responsibility to handle your situation accordingly, because they don't want that kind of bad publicity, especially dealing with racial issues. Well, we thank you for watching another show. Again, if you have any comments that you would like to express or anything that you would like to add to the show about what we talked about today, just leave those comments at the bottom of our show. If you have something that you would like to see us discuss, your team, some things about your team, how we feel they're going to do, or where can they improve, shoot us an email to straightshootingst@gmail.com. And as always, subscribe to the show. That's how you stay locked in. And hey, it's a great show. Thank you for watching another edition of Straight Shooting Sports Talk.